doesn't really answer this, but I just want to run it by the Agricultural Department. The impact of proposed tax changes on unrealised capital gains and how that will impact farmers. Has the Agricultural Department considered that, the impact of cash flows on farmers if that move was to go ahead, that change was to go ahead?
I'm not sure whether ABAS has done any research on that.
No, we haven't done any research on that. We don't actually have the right amount of information to be able to do that, and Treasury, as you would, and this is particularly pertaining to some of the superannuation changes.
The unrealised capital gain. Because
the unrealised,
obviously
exactly.
Farm values, you could value a farm at $5 million one year, got a drought this year, so it's worth $4 million, and then the next year it jumps back to, say, 5.5. So, you're paying tax on an unrealised gain. And I guess these things whereby we're going to do this every year, presumably since you lodge your tax return every year, you're going to have to declare the value of your land every year. And I mean, if you're not being market to market, then, a farmer's going to be liable, for getting the valuation wrong.
I think it's probably best to put those to Treasury, Senator Rennick.
As a Minister, though, and you've just expressed your, empathy for farmers this morning, Minister Watt, will you lobby the Treasurer? I mean, you're both Queenslanders, both from the same party, about the impacts on farmers? Because surely they must have given you some feedback by now about the impact on this.
A little bit, not a lot actually. It has been raised with me a little bit, and again, I know that those farmers who are captured by this change, being farmers with properties worth in the several $1 million, aren't necessarily happy about this change. But as a member of the government, I support it because it's one of the ways that we get to deliver health services in the bush, roads in the bush, all those other things as well. These things are going to be paid for.
Oh, I get that, but I'm not quite sure you should do it on unrealised gains where people haven't got the cash in the bank to actually pay because they haven't realised the gain.
Again, it's probably best to put that sort of question to Treasury as to the rationale for it.
Okay, just and slightly, I know it's not exactly your portfolio, but it crosses into the agricultural space as well. The closure of branches in the regions by the major banks, is that something that the Agricultural Department is concerned about as well, for the ability of farmers and that to actually get access to banking services? I mean, we're talking about essential services. Is that something as well that's...
Well, that's obviously been a long-term trend, and I think there's a Senate inquiry underway on that issue at the moment.
Myself and...
Senator White. Senator White's there, I remember. You were in Ingham, I think it was, not too long ago. So we'll obviously consider the recommendations. We, as a government, will consider those recommendations.
Okay, because I know that you used to be the chief staff to Anna Bligh, who's now the head of the Australian Bankers Association. So perhaps you could lobby personally on behalf of the farmers to Ms Bligh to keep these branches open.
Well, it's not just farmers who are disadvantaged.
Well, the regions, exactly.
Regional communities.
All the regions. I mean, you've got the inside running there, Murray. You could perhaps... Are you prepared to, back branches in the regions?
I've always supported having more bank branches in regional areas. I think it's a good thing.
Okay, so
I thought it was a good thing when they were closing under your government, and I think it'd be a good thing for them to keep branches open under our government.
As a matter of fact, I think the CBA was privatised by Paul Keating, to be honest, Minister, and Suncorp was privatised by the Labor government in the late 90s. I think when your former boss was the actual treasurer. So something that you can reflect on. I know you've commented before you regret privatising Queensland Rail. So this is your chance to maybe undo some of the mistakes of the past.
Well, thank you for that feedback.
Thank you.
Authorised G. Rennick, LNP Chermside.